Crafty Budgeters, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Brittany. On this channel, we are talking about ways to craft a budget and a lifestyle to become debt-free. Today, I am really excited because it is snowing outside, and to top it off, my boss gave us the day off. I can't wait to take my son outside to make some snow angels, and I hope that if it is snowing where you are at, that you enjoy the snow that is happening right now outside. I also just want to be really real and transparent with you. This is actually the second time that I'm trying to record this video, and if YouTube is teaching me anything, I am learning some things about myself that I knew before, but it's definitely becoming transparent. The first thing is that I am not a night person. I definitely fire at all cylinders in the morning, so I should stop trying to record videos at night. And the second thing is that I am a perfectionist. I am type A, and I feel like I have to get it right the first time or we're gonna have to start all over. And I'm realizing that that's not really what I want my channel to be about. I want this to be about you seeing us in our real moments, having real conversations. And so if I mess up, it is what it is, and we're gonna keep on moving. So if you are interested in learning how we plan to save $10,000 this year, definitely stick around. So again, our goal is to save $10,000, and this $10,000 is actually going to be split up. $5,000 is going to go to an emergency fund, and I'm going to be doing a whole video of why I decided to save $5,000 instead of the recommended $1,000 that Dave Ramsey suggests. And then the rest of the money that we save, who knows, maybe we'll save more than $5,000, will go to our debt snowball. So in total, I'm hoping to save at least $10,000 if we save some more, which if you see my first video, how we exceeded our goals for last year, we might be able to put more money to our debt. So the first step that we're going to be taking is that we are going to be using some of our tax refund. Every year, my husband and I get some money back from our taxes, and I'm hoping to put at least $1,000 to our savings goal to help us reach the $10,000 amount. The second step that we're going to be taking is using golden months. Now, the first time I've heard of the name of golden months is from Elena from the Organized Money. It's basically the months where you get 3 paychecks. So actually, this past month in January was a golden month. Last year in 2020, there were 4 golden months. This year, there's actually 5. So January was a golden month. The next one's in April, then July, October, and December. For this goal, I'm hoping to put at least $1,000 into the savings fund each month that there is a golden month. The third thing that we're going to be doing is the coin challenge, which it's funny because I don't know why I haven't done this before, seeing that there is always change laying around in our house, in the cushions, on the floor, in the car. So I thought, how about all of the money that I find will go into this piggy bank? So any change that we get throughout the year, we are going to be putting in here. This piggy bank I got probably 5 years ago, and it's just been sitting around, and I decided, how about I put some use to it, and at the end of the year, we're going to count it all up. I'm hoping that we'll actually fill this piggy bank, and we might have to move on to something bigger. The next thing that we're going to be doing is the rollover money challenge. This year, I decided that we're going to be starting some cash envelopes. I love watching the cash envelope stuffing videos that all of the debt-free journey fellow YouTubers do. I feel like I'm in a trance. I can sit and watch them for hours, and it really seems that they're able to cut back on overspending. And so there's some categories that my husband and I typically overspend on, especially groceries. So this year we're going to be starting cash envelopes. Definitely stick around and subscribe to this channel as I set up the cash envelopes, walk through how we're going to be doing it. But for this challenge, any rollover money that we get from the categories at the end of the week will go to this rollover challenge folder. And at the end of the year, we will count it up and see how much money we have saved by cutting back on our overspending and trying to save any and every penny that we have. All right, so the next step that we're going to be taking is the Wednesday weather challenge. I'm really excited about these next two steps that we're going to be taking. The first couple are kind of the standard ones, but I wanted our savings journey to be fun, and so I listened to some of the other savings challenges that some of the YouTubers were doing, and I wanted to take part in it. So the first one, like I said, is the Wednesday weather challenge. And I first heard about this challenge from Rochelle Adamson's Budgets channel, and it seems really fun. So I created a printable that will stay in my planner. And the premise of this challenge is every Wednesday you will look at the weather in your area, and whatever the high is for that day on Wednesday, that's how much you're going to want to try to save. So I haven't started yet, so I thought I would walk you through what I did to track the January months for the weather. So what I basically did was went onto the Weather Channel app or website on my phone, and I'm actually going to put a video clip of what I actually did. But I went to the Weather Channel and then looked to see what the high was for that day. So for the first week, the high was 34 degrees. For the second week of January, it was 36 degrees. For the third week of January, it was 45 degrees. And for the fourth week of January, it was pretty warm, I guess as warm as you can get for the winter. It was 47 degrees. So then what you'll do is also track your balance. So the first week, it's 34 degrees. Then you'll do 34 plus the 36. So you'll add the first week to the second week, and that gives you $70. For the fourth week, adding the 45 to the 70, that gives you $115. And then for the fourth week, adding the 47 to the 115, that gives us $162. Now, I actually was able to find some money. We're gonna count it together. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 61, 62. So $162, I'm sorry, is going to go in one of these envelopes that I got from Amazon. Right now, I'm gonna be using these, but I have some creative ideas of how I'm going to make my envelopes a little bit more fun and exciting and creative, so definitely stick around. The $160 will go into this envelope, and then every week we'll add in the high amount to this total. Right now the numbers might be a little bit low, but in the summertime, depending on where you live, those numbers can get pretty high. Now, for all of these challenges that I'm going to be talking about and ways that we want to save, I definitely will also want to say that, like, if there's a week that you can't save because there's other things going on, that is okay. if you watched my first video of how we saved over $45,000 worth of our debt in 2020, which I'll link below, the last step that I said was to give yourself grace. So some weeks we might be able to do it, some weeks that you're not going to be able to do it, and that's okay. As long as you're working towards the goal to try to save anything to help bring down your debt or to reach a savings goal that you have, that's all that matters. So that is the Wednesday weather challenge. The last thing that we're going to be doing is the 100 envelope challenge. I believe by the time you finish this challenge, it's about 50 weeks if you do it from start to finish. The total should be about $5,000. I believe it's $5,050. $5,050 would be amazing to save. And so there's a couple of ways that you can do this challenge. The first way is actually getting some envelopes. So on the envelopes, you would get 100. So I just found these envelopes in our drawer. And so you would number the envelope from 1 to 100. Right? So each week you would actually pick 2 envelopes. So let's say I pick this one and this one. So the $1 envelope and the $78 envelope, and then you'll add them together. So you would put $79 into your savings envelope for this challenge. Now, some people will do it randomly. So they'll do 1 through 100, they'll randomly pick 2 envelopes. Other people, because some weeks you might get 2 high numbers, some weeks you might get 2 low numbers, and you want to have a little bit more control. Sometimes people pick the envelopes, so pick the numbers. Some weeks you're realizing that like, I only can put about $5 in this challenge, and so they pick 2 of the smaller numbers. So let's say a 4 and a 1. Some weeks you find that you have a little bit more money, so maybe you saved in other areas of your budget and you're able to do some of the higher numbers. So people might pick 2 of the higher numbers. That's the second way that people can do it. And then the third way is that people will basically split it right down the middle. So 1 through 50 and then 51 through 100. And then they'll pick from the 1 to 50, pick 1 from the 51 to 100, and then they'll add the money together. And that gives a little bit more of a balance. So being my creative side, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I decided that instead of the envelopes that I was going to do something with this little box. And so this box I got from the Dollar Tree, and this little tag is actually from the Dollar Tree too, and on the back it had one of those like clothespins that I just took off. And so what I did is took some strips of paper and I color coordinated it with green, show some money, and on the strips I cut them into little pieces, and the dark green strips represent the 1 to 50 numbers. So I decided to do the 1 to 50, 51 to 50 to 100. And on the light green, they are the 51 to 100 numbers. And so each week I'm going to pick 1 dark green and 1 light green. And whatever the money is, I'll put that into an envelope that I'll save throughout the year. Now, right now I am a couple of weeks behind, and I was going to try to fill in those envelopes and fill in those weeks to get me back on track, but I'm realizing that like that's way too much, and that would be a lot of money at one time. So what I'm going to do is that if there are some weeks that I'm saving a little bit more and I have a little bit extra room in the budget, that I'm just going to add in a 3rd slip. Now it looks like I have about 4 envelopes that I have to make up. So between the rest of this year, I have to add an additional 4 of these slips into our fund. So together we're going to do this week's money challenge. All right, so I can't see it. So the first number, our light green, is 54. and our second number is 25. So this week I'm going to have to save $79. To help keep track of this challenge, I also created another printable where I'll be able to color in the envelopes that I do for that week. So for this week we did 25. So let's find 25. We're gonna color that in. And then we did 54. So let's find 54. We'll color that in. All right, so we colored in the 25 and the 54 envelopes. I'm excited to see how much we're going to be able to save with this challenge. I'm going to be changing up some of my highlighters. This is just a midliner highlighter that I got in many different colors. So each week we'll get 2 of the slips from this envelope. We'll calculate how much it adds up to, and then we'll fill out our envelopes on this printable. If you're interested in this printable, the 100 envelope challenge printable, or the Weather Wednesday challenge printable, let me know. I might offer it eventually on Etsy, or maybe I can send it to your email. But these are just some fun challenges that I decided that I wanted to do this year to help us to reach our goal. If we look at our list for 2021, we're going to be working to try to put $1,000 from our tax refund, $1,000 from our golden months. Any extra change we'll put in the coin challenge. We'll do our rollover money challenge with our cash envelopes. We're going to be doing the Weather Wednesday challenge, and then the 100 envelope challenge. This is something that's going to be hopefully fun and exciting. I'm not going to stress out about trying to save if it's going to mess up with the budget. It's just going to be if I have the money, or I'm going to try to cut back on spending in other areas to help us to reach our goal for the challenges. In the comment section, write down what are your goals for 2021 and what are maybe some fun and exciting challenges or savings plans that you have created. Definitely don't forget to subscribe so that way you can keep up to figure out how we're doing with tracking our savings and our challenges throughout the year. I'm really wanting this to be a fun, new, and creative thing to help us work to craft a budget and a lifestyle to become debt-free.